hashtag create CR, so I'll do it down here. The hashtag CR number 8 SUCCESS, create success. Tag me. If we're not friends, you can probably still tag me, Michelle Hess Withers, or tag my Facebook page, which you just do the @creativesuccesssystems.com. I have a problem typing and talking at the same time. Okay, so that's the Facebook page. Be sure and go like the Facebook page so you see the new free classes that come out and other things that we do. Okay, all right, we keep having people pop on. Hi, Diane, how are you? Can you hear me, Diane? She's figuring out her technology. That's all right. Okay, so I started the recording. We are going to talk about, thank you, Wendy. Wendy's my first person in my drawing. She's always on top of that. Be sure and post down at the bottom that you did post, because sometimes I go to Facebook and Facebook doesn't always show me all of them. It makes me really grumpy, okay? So be sure and post down at the bottom and let me know that you posted on Facebook, and we will get you this.
So what are we supposed to, sorry, I didn't mean to over talk you there.
That's okay.
What are we supposed to exactly? Just the, I mean, what are you asking us to post?
You go to Facebook. My hashtag is hashtag CR number 8 success. No spaces, all bunched together, okay? Then tag me or tag my Facebook page. The best way to tag a Facebook page, if you didn't know, is you put the @ and no spaces. You put it all together. You put the @ and then the name of the Facebook page, which mine is Creative Success Systems, plural. Rochelle's on it like white on rice. She's all over that. Okay? Tell them we're hanging out. We're talking about recruiting, and you're going to grow your teams bigger than you ever had before. Can you hear me, Diane, now? No, still not yet.
I can hear you yet. Sorry. Just got out of it.
Hi, Diane. How are you? Where are you from?
I'm in Seattle.
Where again?
I'm in Seattle.
Oh, in Seattle. Hi, welcome. Which company are you with?
Thank you. I'm sorry?
What company are you with?
Unique.
Unique. Awesome. Whose team are you on?
I'm on Jennifer Major's team.
Jennifer's. Awesome. Okay, perfect. All right, so just let me know when you've posted. Everybody's posting. They're popping up all over my phone. Okay, awesome. Well done, guys. Okay, so let's get talking about recruiting. This is so much fun. I love this. So this is what I always got awards in, was recruiting and helping my team recruit were awards I got. Okay, I love this. It's so much fun. I love building a team because the product's awesome, but it's also fun to make money selling our product. Okay, so let's get going on this. I'm a big, big believer that we need to find out things about the people that we're talking to. And I'm going to tell you about the things we need to find out. And the important, oh my goodness, it's so important, my friends. Make sure that you are finding out about them before you talk about the business opportunity. You don't tell them all about the opportunity and then try to ask questions about them. We're going to find out about them. And then from there, we're going to then tell them about how our opportunity matches what they need or want. Okay, you with me on that? I was doing this the other day and didn't stop and realize that I hadn't explained that, and I got through the entire recruit interview, and she goes, "So are you telling me you don't talk about the company first? You do all these questions first?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely. We don't talk about ourselves, okay? People care if you care about them. They do not care what it is that about your story and about your stuff. They just want to know if it's going to fit for their life and how it benefits them, okay? So it's really important to understand that. A lot of people use the approach of tell their story, make sure people know why they're doing it, between their whys and their success stories and all those kind of things. That's what a lot of people talk about, okay? Instead, we want to listen to them. I mean, who here has multiple friends and has one who's a really good listener and one that does all the talking and maybe even complains? Which friend would you rather hang out with? Who wants to hang out with a friend who's a great listener and the conversation is back and forth? Who wants to hang out with a person who does all the talking and never listens to what you're saying? Okay, so it's really important that we take the time to listen to them more than we talk. Okay, it's my big thing. All right, when you learn this technique, make sure that you keep your notes in front of you. Do not think you're going to remember it all, and plus you're trying to break habits of how you've done this in the past. There's nothing wrong with having a cheat sheet and have something to take notes on. I'll even tell people, hey, by the way, I'm taking some notes, okay? Be sure that you let people know that that's what you're doing and keep that script in front of you. Remember, you're creating new habits, and the only way you do that is to have little reminders and helpful hints in front of you. It's really important, okay? So whether you're doing this face-to-face or on the phone, we're still going to ask the same questions, and we're going to do everything we can to listen to them more than we talk. Okay, so let me tell you real quick. We are going to talk about a thing before we get into the recruit interview, because the recruit interview is based around this. We are going to talk about motivational styles. And what that is, that comes from a great book called Get Motivated, and it's by a gal named Tamara Lowe, Lowe. And this book is really fun. It really tells you a lot about it tells you a lot about yourself. It tells you a lot about your, if you're married, your spouse. It tells you a lot about your kids, your team members. And it's really fun because you'll go, oh, that's why this isn't clicking for this person. So it's really important you understand these motivational styles. When you do this, I kind of refer to recruiting like a net. You go talk to people and you have this net, and some you catch and some slip through. Some, just wasn't meant to be. But what we want to do is shrink the holes in that net so we catch more people. And this understanding these recruiting styles will do that for you, okay? So the first thing that you want to know is somebody more motivated by change the world, or are they more motivated by money and titles? Now, before you make a judgment call on that and think that one is good and one is bad, because they're not. Mother Teresa's really, really need the Bill Gates of the world to donate to their organizations, okay? So if you're more a Mother Teresa type, interesting thing is you're not usually motivated by money. You're usually a little bit more motivated by what the product does. You're usually a little bit more motivated. You can be motivated by what money does for you, okay? Like for me, I think about my two daughters. I have 4 children, boy, girl, boy, girl. And I think about my 2 daughters. I really want to be able to go out when they have babies, spend 2 weeks with them, pamper them, take good care of them. So when I'm thinking about building my business, I'm thinking about what can I do so that I have the flexibility and the income so I can go out and help my girls when they're ways off from that. But when they start having babies, what can I do? Okay? So that's just an example of when you're driven more by changing the world versus money, how you work around that so that you still are trying to make money even though you're not driven by money and titles. So I want you to think about this for a minute. If you happen to be driven by money and titles, one of the things is you love convention, you love the award ceremony, you love to be up on stage, and it's so much fun because when that's something that drives you, it's a lot of times a big hole for women, whether they're not totally appreciated and celebrated at home, or they're not, it's not like, we love our spouses, but, sometimes we just kind of get in the natural mode. It's not like we celebrate and get dressed up and give each other awards and kudos, okay? But there's going to be people, when you're talking about the money and titles, and they're like, oh, but I just want to help people improve their lives. That's all I want to do. I'm not driven by money and titles. What happens is when you're talking about those perks, the person who's more changed the world kind of shuts down, doesn't feel comfortable, isn't comfortable with you. you've got to be able to talk about what's important to them instead of only what's important to you, and then you can recruit more people. The other way around, if you're changing the world and you're talking about changing lives and how many people you've helped, and they're like, okay, but do you make money at this? Okay, then you've got to be able to talk that motivational style. Both of them are important, okay? But you need to be able to talk about it in a way that works for them. So when they're money and titles and you're not, you just need to be able to tell them how much money is possible, what the titles are, what the kudos are, what the recognition is that comes with your company, okay? So the next one is, are you more motivated by groups and by working in a group, or are you more motivated when you're working independently? And so I want you to think about this for a minute. Some people get so motivated. I'd have this group of girlfriends from church, and you always see them pictures on Facebook. They, go to plays together, play bunco together. They do these things. They're motivated by being in a group. Some people prefer to be by themselves and to work independently. And I want you to really think about that. Do you love the team meetings? Do you love to get together as a group? Are you more likely to do your phone calls if you know a bunch of other people are doing their phone calls, or you're all in the same, kind of building, and you all find a corner and you all go to your phone calls? Or do you love to work independently, and then you'll just kind of check in with one person and you just need to do your thing? So the reason it's so important to understand that is then when you're telling them about the perks of the business, if there's somebody who really wants to build those connections and those relationships and loves to work in a group, you need to talk about the group things and the way that your business makes it so there's fun group things, whether it's the parties they get to go hold, whether it's the team meetings, all the ways they get to be in a group. If it's someone who works independently, you can talk more about the one-on-ones. You can talk about how they work their own schedule. You can talk about that, guess what? This is something you do on your own. You don't have to have a boss. This is your baby. It's all about what's important to them, that you talk about how they can make it work based on their personal motivational style. So if you're all about groups as a team leader and you happen to have someone who's that lone, who just likes to work independently, don't worry when they don't come to team meetings. Who cares? You just need to make a quick phone call to them, give them a little one-on-one time. They're good to go and they'll make good money for you, and they don't necessarily feel like they have to be at team meetings. When they start to be a team leader, they kind of have to be a chameleon and kind of show up for their team members. But just know that someone who doesn't show up may not be motivated by being in groups. I do what I do because I work independently. I don't like to work in groups. It's not my thing. I love people, absolutely love people, love to connect, but I'd much rather have coffee with each one of you than to be in a big room and play bunco with you all at once, okay? Not my thing. But when you can understand that, there's a lot of cool things you can do. All right, so the last one is, are you more variety or are you more consistency? Do you like to wake up every morning and have the same routine and have things look the same? Or do you like to wake up and have something different to do every day? Okay, whichever one you are, if you're variety or consistency, I'm telling you, you variety people drive the consistency people crazy, and you consistency people drive the variety people crazy, okay? Because you're like, why can't you just loosen up? Why can't you just change your schedule? Why can't you just roll with it? That's the variety person. And the consistency person is going, why can't they just get organized and just have a schedule and do the same thing every day? Okay? You've got to learn to work around those things. If you're a variety person, one of the things I like to do is you have a list of things that has to be done in the week. Then you get to move it around every week where you do it. It just has to eventually get done. Consistency person wants to have it look the same as much as possible. So let's go through and poll real quick which of these you are. If you're a money and change the world person, if you're groups or alone, or if you're a consistency or variety person. Okay? So by raising a hand or shouting out on the phone, raise your hand, who is a money and titles person? Who's driven more by money and titles?
I am.
I'm both.
Who's both?
Rochelle.
Rochelle, okay. You are? Okay, so money and titles. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to bet my money on It Works attracts more money and titles people with all the bonuses that they hand out, okay? Just because of the way that focus is, that's the kind of people that they're going to attract. That's not a good or bad thing, it's just the way it is, okay? Now, just so you know, everybody is a little of both, because none of you are robbing banks and you just don't care what happens to anybody else. And none of you are off being Mother Teresa's and I'm totally fine with working, never getting paid or appreciated or anything like that, okay? You all are a mix, but often you are heavy in one area or the other. That make sense? Okay. All right. So
I would have to say that I'm heavier in the title then.
who is?
Rochelle.
You're heavier in the title? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So who is more heavy in the change the world? Who's more change the world people?
Me, Michelle.
I am.
Jessica?
Lena is.
Oh, that's cool. Who said, when you say I am and you're on the phone, say, hi, this is so-and-so, I am.
I said I am. Lena is.
Lena is, okay, change the world. Who else is change the world? Cheryl?
Yeah.
Jessica is, Pam is,
Sharon.
Michelle.
Shannon, which are you?
Sharon.
Sharon.
Which am I?
Sorry, Sharon.
I can't change the world. I try to, but I can't.
No, it doesn't matter if you can change the world. It's about, are you more driven by changing the world? Are you more driven by getting money and titles?
Oh, driven by changing the world.
By changing the world. Okay. So can you see, isn't that interesting, the ratio, who is who? Diane, did you tell us what you are? What did you say you were?
Well, both. I mean, I think it's great to get recognition for things, and I think it's great to get paid for things, but I think, you know, pushing the chains is really important.
Okay, awesome. So now I just want you to see, there's some that are like, gosh, I'm really 50-50, some that I'm really heavy on one side or the other. You've got to be able to really listen to people, hear what it is that motivates them. You may need to bring up both. It's so great. You can make money and change lives. It's such an awesome balance, okay? Depends on who you're talking to. Okay, so let's find out who's groups and who's work independently. Who loves to work in a group? You turn on the music, you bring all the kids in, everybody gets an assignment, you work together, you're motivated when you've had time in a group. Who else is? So Jessica said she is. I am.
Rochelle.
Rochelle.
Sharon, I am in group.
Karen, awesome. Okay. So, and who likes to work independently? Who would rather work alone?
Lena.
Lena, Wendy.
This is Michelle. I would.
You would? Okay. Which is kind of surprising. You're such a people person, Michelle. Yeah, I am too. I'm the mom that shoos them all out of the kitchen. I will let you know when dinner's ready. I'm not good at delegating and having them all in there and all working and doing different things. Oh, that is not my thing. My husband's better at that, and he's an introvert and not the people person, and I am, but I can't do it all in a group for some reason. Okay? But just knowing that about yourself and knowing that about others can help you motivate them. Okay, so the last one, who loves consistency? Who likes their day to be real similar? Who likes to have schedules? Who likes to have plans? Okay, Wendy and Rochelle and Dodie and is that, am I saying it right when I just say Andrea? Am I pronouncing it right? Okay, perfect. Who's on the phone? Who's consistency? Anyone?
Tiffany. Lena.
Tiffany? And
This is Lena. I prefer the variety, but I'm very productive in consistency.
Awesome. Okay. So knowing that about yourself, Abra, both on this one. Okay. Yeah. You see the benefits of consistency, but gosh, in this business, you got to be able to jump from sales to recruiting to one day. I don't know. It's not a very consistent schedule in this. Rochelle's both. It's probably why you do so well in your business, because you can, float back and forth from the two and it not drive you crazy. Okay, the very last thing I want you to know a little bit about is what's called, you're welcome, sweetie, is called Love Languages. Who's read the 5 Love Languages, that book? It's a super easy, fun read. Okay, Wendy has, Pam has, I have 2 Pams on here. Okay, so the 5 love languages is really, it's a quick, easy read. You learn a lot about yourself, about your spouse, about those that you interact with. But the 5 love languages, what's fun about the book, so the 5 love languages are physical touch, gifts, means something you can touch and wrap up and put in a box, quality time, acts of service, and words of affirmation, okay? When you understand a little bit about what people, what's the nicest gift you've ever been given, or what's the nicest gift you've ever given, it's really important to know. So like one of the other gals I worked with, her name's Lindsay, and she's high on gifts. She loves to give gifts. She loves to get gifts. My daughter's the same way. I'm words of affirmation, and I'm not gifts. Like, it makes me think, it's like, are you just shallow and need to always have things? And I'm so naughty because it's not accurate at all. It just happens to be their love language, okay? And so understanding what motivates them. My husband happens to be quality time. Your quality time people want to have coffee with you and spend the time on the phone. Those are the people who want that time from you, okay? So my husband, one day I said, here's your football game. It was a Sunday. The kids were all occupied. It's going to be quiet. Watch your game. I got to go for a walk. I just need to regroup. Went for a walk, came back. The game's off. What's going on? You didn't sit here and watch it with me, okay? He is so quality time, which is hard for me because I run Mach 10 all the time. If I do sit down, I usually fall asleep. So it's kind of dangerous. But, we kind of have to work around it and do those things. When you understand that about the people you talk to, whether it's, man, we get these really awesome bonuses, or, you get these gifts, the company makes a lot of noise about you, they put you in a newsletter. What is it? I'm words of affirmation. You can just say something nice about me. You don't have to spend any money on me, okay? I'm just as happy. I'll go buy my own things. I know what I want. I'm a little Sally, and here you met Sally. Not high maintenance. I just know what I like, okay? So it's one of those things that when you know that about people, you can better tell them what they're going to get out of it in their business. Okay? So let me tell you a quick story about about motivational styles. And when you really understand motivational styles, you can see and pull out and utilize the strengths that people have. So I'm going to tell you a story about my son. His name's Porter, and he's 15, and he does triathlons. He used to just be on swim team, and then he started running and biking, and now he's this big triathlete, and he works really hard at what he does. Well, so think about this for a minute, what his motivational styles are. First of all, he is consistency. He can swim the laps over and over. He can do 2 miles of swimming and it not bother him. He can be told, go out and bike for 2 hours and do it at this time and do, these, I don't know. There's all these things Coach talked about that goes over my head, okay? He can do things alone. When he is homeschooled, but when he is in a class, he will take his desk, move it to the corner. When it's time to get to work, does the work faster than everybody else, gets it done, turned it in. He has no interest in being with people when it's time to work. Now, he's not a people person, and he's not antisocial, but when it's time to work, he only wants to work. He has no interest in talking to you, okay? And so it's fun to understand that, because that's part of why he's being so successful. Like, he's even ranked nationally because he can work independently and he doesn't mind consistency. I would blow my brains out, okay? I cannot go and swim lap after lap after lap. I am not consistency. I'm all variety. And, I need people a little bit, but I kind of get the work alone thing that he can do. So one time he had this track meet, and he's really funny because he's not a sprinter at all. So you start this 2-mile run, 2/3 of the group jet out, totally get in front of him, okay? But he has 2 miles. And he passes one person after another person after another person after another person. It's really funny to watch because he has to pass 2/3 of the crowd. But come the end, he would get like 2nd or 3rd place. So it's just really funny. It's almost like a funny, like, cartoon or something to watch him just pass them one at a time. And we just always know that we just have to put up with him being slow at the beginning compared to everybody else, but everybody else slows down and he keeps going. He's kind of that tortoise in the hare kind of thing. So we're watching him. He's past number 3 guy, so he's in second place. The first place guy, he's beat the last 2 weeks. And I'm like, this is it. This is going to be the week where he finally gets first. Okay, I won't even deny that I really badly wanted him to take first. I was, of course, just super excited, and I'm really loud out there cheering. And I'm like, Porter, you got this. You can do this. And they're coming in, and they're coming in. And the kid in front of him comes in, and Porter is like on his heel. He's like literally a half a second behind him and takes second again. I'm like, oh, dang. You know, I'm like, oh, he was so close. I thought he was going to have it. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, it's not like second is horrible or anything, because it's not. And he's like my Energizer bunny. You know, that's a short run for him anyway. So I'm talking to him. I'm like, oh, Porter, you were so close. I thought you had it this time. He says, well, Mom, that kid really needed to win today. His family never comes and supports him, and his family was there today, and he needed to win. I am feeling like an idiot, okay? Like a total idiot, because clearly my son's nicer than I am, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, so I'm half in tears, you know, and I'm feeling really stupid. And I'm like, okay, Porter. And I'm like, okay, now I really don't care he won, right? Because I care way more that he has this great, he just cares about people. But when he's talked about wanting to go to the Olympics, I've kind of had to deal with the fact that he's nice. He just cares if he does better, but he doesn't compare about himself to other people. And he doesn't have a lot of competitive edge. So he wants to now do Kona. He wants to win Kona, which is an Ironman, okay, which is way longer than just a normal triathlon. Crazy long. I mean, I don't even know why anybody would do that to themselves, but that's his goal. So, but he knows that his endurance and that kind of stuff will serve him well. And because in a triathlon in the Olympics, it's draft legal, so the bikes are like 6 inches behind each other, and that's just scary. It's just a really crazy thing to do. Anyway, so it's really interesting when you've got these different things going on. But when you understand people's motivational styles, can you see how you can maximize who they are? Like, Porter's going to do great things. He's not going to be an Olympic athlete, and that's totally okay because he has work ethic. He knows his way that he likes to work, and he works smart, and he's going to do great things. But because he's changed the world, he's going to be too nice to go take first. But it's totally okay. So when you understand that about people, you can bring out the best in them. Okay? So let's talk about the interview and how you're going to use these things to better understand the people that you're working with, okay? Now, my interview is very much based on the fact that they've been using the product, they love the product, and now you're going, hey, do you want to make some money doing this? Some of your companies teach you to lead with a business opportunity. That's not how I teach it. So you can decide how you want to do it, but this is how I go about it, and this is what's worked for me, okay? So I'm not going to tell you the other way is wrong, but I'm just going to tell you why I choose to do it this way. So I have found that most people need to love the product to be good at selling it. Would you agree with me to a certain extent? Okay. Some people will do anything just to make $1 and don't necessarily have to love the product. But most of the time I see that person kind of fizzle out and go, I don't know, I wasn't that enthusiastic about the product anyway, and they kind of fade. So I think it's important that they love what they do and they love the product. Okay. So that's always my first question is just, hey, tell me a little bit about what you've liked about the product, how much you've been using it, what are the results you got? That's my first question. Tell me about what you love about the product. Then I like to ask them, as you've been using it, have people popped in your head? Is there anyone you thought about, man, this person really could use this product? So this way I'm kind of finding out, even if they're going to recruit, they have someone to sell it to, or if we come down a level and they're just a hostess, they have someone to invite to a party. So I like to ask them, who have you thought about that might need the same product? That gives you kind of a nice conversation starter to go to. Okay. The next thing, now I want you to really hear this question and think about this. I want you to try to answer this for yourself. If you were to make an extra, whatever it is now, you were to make an extra $500 to $1,000 next month, where would you put that money? Can you say exactly what you would use that money on? Maybe 2 seconds to think about it. Okay, somebody asked you if you had an extra $500 to $1,000 next month, where would you put that money? Who can tell me exactly where that you know where it would go versus I don't know, it would just be nice. So who can tell me exactly where that $500 to $1,000 would go? Who on the phone can tell me exactly where it would go?
Right
This is
now,
Tiffany. I would pay my house payment.
Okay.
More classes with Michelle.
Well, no. That's nice of you. Thank you, Connie. But what I'm saying is sometimes you ask that question and sometimes people cannot tell you where they would put that money. So if I want you to think about that for a minute. If they're like, well, I don't know, but it would be nice, but I'm not sure what I would do with it. That probably means they're not a money and titles person. Do you see what I'm saying? So these questions, what you do is you have these little check off boxes underneath the questions. And you sit and check off, okay, based on their answers, which one are they heavier on? Are they heavier on change the world? Are they heavier on money and titles, groups, independent, consistency, variety? Okay, that's one of the things that you want to figure out. Okay, which are they? So when somebody says, oh, I'd put my daughter in dance and I'd pay $200 off on my credit card and I would do this, this, and this, they tell you, probably leaning towards money and titles. When you ask that, how many of you have asked that of a new recruit, what would you do with some extra money? And they kind of get this deer in the headlight look. I don't know, I just like to help people. That's your change the world person, okay? Not everybody can tell you exactly what they would do with it. Do you see why that's important to understand? It doesn't matter what they're going to use it on. The thing that matters is if they can tell you specifically something or not. Now, somebody that you see is really down and out and having a hard time, and they're really, really on survival mode versus thrive, meaning they're excited and they believe things can happen. If they're white knuckling life right now and they're so worried about being able to pay anything, you kind of have to lower the amount because they don't believe they can make an extra $500 or $1,000. Even if you tell them you are and it's possible, they have a hard time believing it. So sometimes we have to make the amount smaller, and you kind of have to read the person, hey, what would you do with an extra couple $100? And see if they can answer that, okay? All right, so one of the things, some of you have had my other classes where I talk about what's called the positive question. People don't like it when we assume there's something wrong in their lives, meaning, hey, if you could change something in your life, what would it be? Sometimes they don't like that, but we can ask, hey, what's going well in your life right now? Well, this and this and this, kids are going well, but gosh, we're stressed about money and this is happening and we don't have to pay for this, okay? A lot of times people will instantly go into telling you the problems in their life when you've asked them the good things. A lot of you heard me do this. If you sell makeup, hey, what's the best part on your face you like to accentuate? Well, I like to do this, but man, this and this is a problem. I like to cover this up. Sometimes people will start venting without you even having to ask what the problem is. So ask them what's going well. And then if they don't mention anything that they're struggling with, you can ask, hey, if you had one thing that you were to change up or improve or have a little bit more positive situation in your life, what would that be? So then you can find out, is it their health? Is it their finances? Which is it? And then if you have a solution for it, you can bring it up. They may bring up something that you don't have a solution for, so you're not going to address that question. Now, before I get farther, one of the things I forgot to mention was it's really important. You see at the bottom of the script, there's 1, 2, 3. You have 3 lines that you're going to fill in. You need to ask question after question after question until those lines are filled in before you talk about your opportunity. This is incredibly important. So, okay, Dodie and I are talking. I say, tell me a little bit about what you would do with this extra money. She tells me what it is. Okay, thanks for telling me that. Let me ask you another quick question. Okay, so you want to have that phrase on the tip of your tongue. Let me ask you another quick question. Because you want to find 3 needs before you start talking about your opportunity. okay? And that's important because if there's only one need, sometimes people will shut it down and you're going, yeah, but what about this? What about this? Whereas if there's 3 needs, there's a whole bunch of reasons to sign up. It's 90% likely to happen. You got to find 3 reasons they need to sign up, okay? So let's go back to the questions. Was there a question? No? Okay. So one of the things I like to ask them about that kind of reveals a lot, tell me what's been one of your favorite jobs and why. What have you liked about it? Okay. So when they say, oh man, this job was so fun because I made a ton of money and I love the recognition, and you know, they're just, oh, I love this job because of all the money I made. Or someone who says, oh, I loved how much I could help people and change people's lives. It would have been nice if I could make just a little bit more money, but man, I just love touching people and being able to make a difference in people's lives. So can you hear that? Which are they? Money and titles or change the world? Okay. You've got to learn to listen for what are they and have this nice little conversation. Okay. If you could improve on one habit, what would that habit be? That kind of tells you, are they consistency or variety based on what they say? Let's see here. When a job needs to be done, would you rather do it in a big group or would you rather do it independently or just make it assignments and have everybody else come back and report? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you enjoy change? Okay, someone says they love change. Which motivational style are they? Someone shout it out.
Change the world.
Change
Make
the
a
world.
difference.
But just
Variety.
Yep. This love of change is going to be your variety people. They may also be change the world, but just how much do you enjoy change? You know, like I love Mondays. I love the first of the new month. I love the first of the new year. I love that, like first we're rebooting. Okay. I like change. I like to move. Okay. Those kind of things. Not necessarily the work of packing, but I don't mind moving. All right. And then if someone was to give you the ideal gift or you were to give someone a gift, what is to you like the best gift ever? Kind of getting an idea, you know, or is it something or something that you've done for someone? You get a kind of an idea of their love language. You're not going to go into a ton of questions about that, but you just want to be able to tell them that this is how the company shows you appreciation is what you're working on, okay, or what you're trying to find out. Okay, so if you look at all these questions, can you see all the interesting information you're going to find out about them and how you're going to be able to match the opportunity that your company offers with what they've said? Are you kind of getting a feel for that, like what you would say based on what they say? Yes? No?
Yes.
Are you getting a feel for it?
Yes.
Okay. So what
Sharon says yes.
Thank you. So you fill in those 3 needs, and then from there, what you're going to do is you're then going to talk about the 3 things that you have to offer. Either how much money they can make, how much recognition you get, how much freedom you have, how much flexibility you have. Then you tell them about what your company has to offer. But you want to say, because of what you told me, based on what you told me, this, and this, and you have to say them at the same degree that they talked about them. So if they said, man, I'm just feeling really broke versus it would be nice to have a few extra $100, you got to say it in the same intensity that they say it. You can't make it bigger and you can't make it smaller. You've got to show that you relate by saying it in the same way they say it. And you go, we have this and this and this to offer. And then what you do, the very last thing is what's called an optional close. Would you like to start out with this kit or this kit? Would you like to start with your opening party on this date or on this date? Would you like to do it online or on, face-to-face? Would you like to start out by making a list? There's all these different things that you can ask, but it shouldn't be yes, no, are you ready to sign up? Okay, so it really skyrockets your closing rates by having an optional close. Would you like to do A or B? Okay. All right. How does this recruiting interview feel? I don't know what you've been doing before now, but what do you like about this? How do you see this helping you recruit more people? Tell me some of your aha moments.
I like the fact that it's demonstrating that I really do care. I'm not just in it for myself. I'm learning something about them. I'm asking really good questions, and I'm investing in them, which is honestly why I signed up with my sponsor.
Awesome. Perfect. Super. What other ahas and what other things?
Michelle, this is Lena.
Go for it, Lena.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So this is really, really helpful when you know that you're going into a recruiting interview. What if this is the first interaction with someone and they were referred to you for product? Would you still go the same path, or would you work your way into it differently?
No, I would show them product, see how excited they are, how much they're like totally on board versus how much they're like, well, let's see if it works. I wouldn't go into this if they're pretty skeptical and they just want to try it versus if they see this as a solution and they're super excited about it, then you can go, guess what? You actually can make money at this too. Could I ask you a couple other quick questions to get to know you better about in a different area? Then you can ask them. But I personally believe that you need to get them excited about product first. And I know it's kind of the opposite of what you're taught.
Okay.
So you kind of try both. And
Okay, perfect.
which of your numbers go better?
Okay. Thank you. That definitely answered my question.
You bet. No problem. Okay, who has either more questions or aha moments? Any other thoughts? Dodie, you always have something fun to tell me.
Well, I just think, and this is what I always try to teach my team, is like, there is nothing more positive and stuff than sharing on your personal Facebook page about your life, about what you do, like with your business.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think for me, this past year recruiting, that's just really helped. And that's falls into what you say about, you know, getting to know other people, because then if people comment on it or something, then you get to talk to them, not necessarily about yourself, even though, I mean, it's not always just about me. It's like the team, you know, whenever one of the gals promotes, we always make sure to put it on the page. I think it's inspiring. It's inspiring to me when I see other Facebook people that are really being successful in what they're being in. I mean, I just think it goes along with the whole recruiting thing, and because people do watch you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. Any other thoughts? Who else has had an aha moment?
I have a follow-up question for what Dodie just said. So
Okay.
I have noticed just in some of my posts, I have the same 5 people that will like the inspirational quotes, that will like the team building post, just like what we just did a few minutes ago. How do you approach those people? Because obviously they're following, obviously they're paying attention, and they're interested.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes back to what Michelle said about asking those questions.
Mm-hmm. And just start a conversation with them. Is that what's working for you, Dodie? Okay.
Yeah, you know, honestly, for me, I can't really think of one person over this past year that I've asked to recruit. I mean, it's just really all in sharing my passion and you know, what this company is doing for my family. And I mean, and you know, I tell the team too, it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time, just like it takes time to build relationships with you know, people and all that. But the more you do now, the more further along you're going to be in a year. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah. But it is, I mean, there's this happy medium between the fact that we put enough out there that it makes people curious and some people will come to us, but we also can be more proactive about it. And when somebody's commenting and liking, we can kind of start a conversation, get to know them a little bit better. You know, are you just a sweet friend and you're just congratulating me? Or have you ever wondered if this is something that, you know, is this something that you might enjoy doing? And, you know, can I just ask you a couple of quick questions that just kind of reveal a little bit about you and what's going on, and if I should tell you more about this? So, you know, but start with a little conversations. Look at their Facebook page. What have they been doing? Message on their stuff. Get, you know, start building that relationship. Don't expect it to build just because you private message them all of a sudden, ask a few questions that you just move into it. But work on it for a week or two and then see what happens. So, you know, the nice thing is you can foster that over a period of time. Okay?
That sounds good. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, let's just make sure. Right now I have, and you can tell me if you're on the phone, maybe you posted and you haven't been able to message it down in the chat. I have Wendy, Rochelle, Dodie, Jessica, Andrea, Abra, and Pam. Let's see, and I'm pretty sure it's Pam Anderson. Anyone else post on Facebook? Oh, other pad, too.
Lena, I did. Lena did.
Awesome, Lena. Okay, anyone else?
Tiffany did.
Oh,
I did.
Michelle, you did? Okay. I think I heard one more I did.
Tiffany?
Tiffany, okay. Okay, perfect. All right, anyone else? Say that one more time.
Can I add something too?
Yes.
The one that you guys were talking about saying that, like if people are liking, it's the same 5 people, because I have that happen quite a bit. And the first thing that I do if I contact them is I just write them a thank you note, just saying how much I appreciate that they are supporting me in my post. Just something nice like that. And then you can kind of get a feel for where they are with it. Are they there just to be your support system, and or are they interested in what you're posting?
That's a really good idea. I love it. Well done. Well done. Okay, if I could share with you real quick, some of you don't know, I have some classes. One's called the 90-Day Sales Challenge, and it takes 12 weeks and it helps you learn how to ask really good questions, focus on your goals, and all those amazing things that can happen in your business. And Dodie, tell us real quick what you've got out of the 12-week challenge so far.
Well, I think I'm in it a month now.
Mm-hmm.
And not only have I set my goals higher, I'm following being more consistent and going outside of my comfort zone more.
Awesome.
Because I have the tools now, you know, like, I mean, the biggest aha moment for me so far in these last 4 weeks has just been the way that I have always approached customers, you know, and I mean, and I genuinely care about people. But I genuinely love my company. So for me, it's really hard. I get too excited. Like, you know, Michelle, I get really excited about my business. So for me, it's just really that the biggest moments have been just to slow down and get to know what people's needs are.
Mm-hmm. What is your, what's been the result so far for you?
I mean, just random things. I just like yesterday, I just had some random gal join my team. I mean, and I think it's the way I'm changing my verbiage up and just, yeah, I mean, yeah, everything, more sales, because I've been able to reach outside of my box and message more people, because now you've given me the tools of how to approach them. And yeah.
Well, less scary. Has it more than paid for itself already?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
most definitely.
Awesome.
I can't imagine not investing. I think, you know, when people get to a point, and, you know, I didn't really have the money to do it, but I made it happen, and then I was blessed. But I think if everybody that is serious and wants to go to the top and, you know, be successful in this business, you can't put a price on these classes, and because it's going to come back to you tenfold over. Like, I truly believe in that. And it's positive. I mean, these are such positive, like, you know, it's inspiring.
Awesome. You're inspiring, Dodie. You're so fun. It's amazing how just a kind of a shift in belief, instead of kind of hoping it will happen and being stressed and going, I believe this is going to happen and I'm so excited about it. Just a shift in energy lets good things come to you faster. So it's kind of interesting to see what happens. But the 90-day challenge is either $110 per month, or you can save $30 and pay the whole thing up front and pay $300. But we just started 3 brand new classes that we're so excited to start next week. They are called master classes because, like Dodie said, you know, she was a little worried about the money and even the commitment at first. So sometimes you need to take a little bit smaller step. So the 3 classes we're offering next, starting next Tuesday, the order they're in is either at 5 p.m. you have building your customer list, and by the end of the month you will have lots of new customers, okay? Or you have sales. By the end of the month you will have more sales. This isn't learn it and then go apply it a month later. This is get your investment back that month. Okay, I don't want you waiting. And then the last one's recruiting. And I will be honest with you, unless you've done some sales training with me, I don't encourage you to do recruiting because you're going to be able to teach it. Right, Dodie? Would you agree with that? And I have people all the time who just want to do recruiting and they kind of fight with me, and I get it. But it helps, right, Dodie? You're getting recruits even though you were only working on sales technically.
Well, yeah, because it's like running a marathon. You just don't wake up one day and decide you're going to run, you know, a marathon. You've got to prepare to run that marathon. So it's kind of like our business.
Yep. So you could probably do the sales and the recruit at the same time, but you need them both. So those are only $100, or you can do 2 payments of $60. And so what I do, you can either go to the website and sign up right now, or if you want to talk to me about which of those classes would be a better fit for you. The 90-day challenge is a new one starting on Thursday of next week. It's at either 11 a.m. or it's at 5 p.m. and that's Pacific Standard Time, so based on which time zone you're in, okay? It's a lot of fun. It's amazing to see the shifts and the changes and the income that you make a lot quicker because of the mindset and the goals and the tools that you have. It's just really exciting to see how it shifts and how it turns around. So is there anyone who wants to have a quick chat with me, or do you need the website? The website's Creative Success Systems, plural, .com. And it's just really fun and exciting to see what we're doing. Does anyone here need a chat? Anyone that we haven't talked to before? Several of you already are working with me and having fun. Anyone? And if you know of people who need this opportunity, who need this training, be sure and let me know. I'm happy to give them a quick call and say, hey, you know, I'd just love to tell you a little bit about what Dodie's doing, what's working for, and I'm more than happy to do that. Okay? So just let them know I'm going to give them a call and go from there. Okay? All right?
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
See you Saturday.
Yes, see you
Thank you,
Saturday.
Michelle.
Wendy, will I see you Saturday? No? Hey, Rochelle, I had to change my plans. I'm going to be there Friday and Saturday instead of Sunday.
Okay.
To find a way to say hi to you and give you a hug.
Okay. I'll figure. What time are you going to be here on Friday?
I'm going to be there really, really early because we're going to hit the zoo and then run up to Kelso and watch Porter swim. I think he swims at 1. And then, so then I have like kind of early evening. I need to run to IKEA, but that, I don't care what time I do that.
I'm right by IKEA, so maybe